How's it going, everybody? UK Spearo, and I'm tired today. I'm recording this the day after. Just thought I'd again give you a bit of a voiceover, give you some context on what's going on in this video. So I went diving again, obviously, with Richard Gomes from the Spearo Hangout. So shout out to him again. And if you don't listen to their podcast already, then you definitely should. Some awesome content on there. But we went wreck diving. We went quite a long way. It was a long old trip, and you can see in this clip here, just doing a little warm-up dive, just to check that the anchor's in a decent spot on the wreck. And you can see that floating on the anchor line there. That is a chum tube. So we've taken a load of blended up mackerel, fish oil and bran, and we're using that to hopefully draw some more fish into the wreck. And yeah, as you can see, anchor's in a good place. We are diving about 14-15 meters to get onto the wreck here. The visibility was insane, so that was really nice. We had at least 10 meters visibility, which where we were you don't usually get, so that was really nice to have. And yeah, a lot of fun. Awesome dive, awesome day. I did have some GoPro issues, so you'll see from this video there's a few clips I didn't manage to get, but you get to see the fish afterwards anyway. And you can see we're just doing a few dives around the wreck just to sort of orient ourselves and figure out the layout of the wreck, the layout of the seabed, and see what's around. So you can see on this clip I've dived down. There's a huge plate on the ground which is part of the wreckage, and then the main structural part of the wreck is just off to the side here. So we've got a decent layout of what's going on, and next up here we're going to do a dive down and take my first shot on a fish. Now this wouldn't be true to my videos without including me missing a fish, so first things first, we'll get that out of the way, and you're going to watch me miss a nice little bass that comes in as I hide behind a piece of wreckage. He comes in pretty curious, I guess, to see what I am, and yeah, I miss. So I'm just settling in here behind this little bit of structure, and the bass is just coming over to me. The GoPro doesn't pick up as much as you can see underwater, but he's just coming in, and there it is. Rushed my shot, just missed the headshot on the fish, but that's how it goes sometimes, you know, you just rush a shot and you miss. But we make up for that with later dives, so don't you worry there. Now this next dive, we're going down onto the wreck here again. We're going to settle into roughly the same position. You can see the float anchor line hooked under a piece of wreckage, and little did I know at this time, but where that anchor's hooked on, in that little crack there, that's the home of a triggerfish. But I'm going to shoot that later in the video. Unfortunately I didn't get actually shooting it on video, but I did get it. But I'm just cruising along the edge of the wreckage here, and over the other side of the wreckage I've already seen a shoal and mullet that sort of spooked a little bit and just moved away as I came down onto the wreck. But you'll see there's a couple of lingering mullet from the shoal just inside the wreckage here, and I take a shot on the bigger mullet at the back of the shoal that just comes nosing through to see what I'm doing, and secure him with a nice shot straight through the head and out the side of the body. Now it kind of went wrong a bit here. You can see the mullet dropped down with the weight of the spear, and my flopper has got lodged beneath the wreck, and I'm using a gun with no reel on, and it's stuck.
I've got a mullet on my gun, but I need you to dive reasonably quick when it's safe to. Just inside the middle of the wreck, past the anchor. It got hooked, the flopper's hooked on the wreck.
So I'm just going to talk you through my thought process here. Obviously the key thing first of all is let your dive buddy know what's going on. Now you'll have noticed when I was telling him there, I did say when it's safe to. I know that he'd done a dive just before me. I don't want him to push anything. I don't want him to rush his dive. So when he feels comfortable and ready to dive, I'd appreciate him going and having a look for my gun. But at the end of the day, guys, it's just a spear gun. It doesn't matter. When you're in that situation, let go of your kit. If it's your weight belt, drop your weight belt. It doesn't matter. Just let it go. So anyway, moving on, I've got my other gun off the float, and this is my 90cm Bulldog reel gun. You can see I've taken the spear out of the gun, not loading it or anything, and my thought process was that I'll dive down. If it's still lodged and I can't get it out, I will clip the handle from my gun that's down there onto the spear or the shooting line of this gun, and then return to the surface, releasing the reel, letting some line out, and at least it gives me sort of an anchor point onto the gun that's underwater. However, as you're going to see here now, dive down, get down, spot the fish, spot the gun, and there is a conger trying to steal my fish. There's the conger, but thankfully that worked out in my favour, because in the conger's efforts to try and pinch the mullet, he actually dislodged the flopper out of the wreckage, and it meant I could just grab the handle of the gun and come straight up to the surface.
The fucking conger trying to eat my fish!
Just a quick side note here, please excuse my language in this video, but you're all grown-ups, I'm sure you've heard worse. This is a great time to point out as well, a real gun would have been significantly better, and I don't know why I didn't use it to begin with.
Can I give you that one for 2 seconds? Because I'm just going to put this on the float, fuck doing it without a reel. But at least the conger got the flopper out.
And next up here, very brief break from the dive, I'll let the clip play out.
This is hard work. Fucking angler's tent, blown off the beach. Stupid me is chasing it down, trying to get it back for him. I don't want that being left in the sea. Fucking state of it there.
So as I found out here when I got back to the beach, this tent had actually been abandoned by an angler and left as rubbish and left to fly out into the sea, so I'm glad I got it back.
Oh my god, this is hard work. The tent is basically fully submerged. It feels like I'm trying to tow a ferry with fins. The whole tent's full of water, it's fully submerged. I'm fucked. I don't even know if I'm getting any closer to the beach, if I'm honest. I'm just not moving. It's ridiculous. Trying my best here, but I don't know if I'm going to get this one. I will try. I'll keep you updated. Fucking hell, guys. This is an insane task. It's like swimming a parachute. We're almost there, nearly by the shore. Looks like this other kind angler's come down to help me get it in on the shore, hopefully. Either that or he's worried I'm going to swim over his lines. But, fucking hell. It's like swimming with a parachute on your back. It is unbelievably hard. But we're almost there. 30 metres or so to go. Fuck. It's the hardest 30 metres I've ever swam. Oh, we got it out, guys. Thank you very much. Good sir for helping me. What was your name? John. John, thank you, John. We got that out, so oh, that was the hardest swim of my life. I'm going to go have a rest. John's kindly offered me a coffee, and then go get back out and try and shoot some more fish.
Well, that was hard work. I'm still tired today from that one, guys. It was insane, but I'm glad I was able to get that tent out of the sea and not let even more plastic shit end up in the ocean. You know, we've got to look after the environment out there, and I know I'm shooting fish, but I'm trying to fish in the most sustainable way that I know how, with no bycatch, no rubbish left in the sea, and it's always good to try and just clean up a bit whenever you're on a dive. Now, I don't get any fish on this one, however, my next dive down was when I got my triggerfish, and he came out from underneath the section that I'm currently sat on top of, swam around for a good look at me, trying to figure out what I was doing, and I managed to wait and wait and wait until he presented me with a really nice shot as he turned side on, and I got him. And just as a side note, you can see Rich there waiting for me on the surface, and this really was a good example of having your dive buddy there, one up, one down diving, and likewise you can see me doing the same for him as he's surfacing from his dive. I'm there, I'm ready. We're giving each other the okay, making sure we know that each other's fine, and diving a lot more safely this way.
That's good though.
The anchor of the wreck. It's just that side of the wreck.
Okay.
Like a massive anchor.
Oh, okay.
It's quite cool.
So you see there, in between dives, Rich and I just having a little chat to each other. It's always good to spend 10 seconds, chat to your dive buddy when they come up to the surface, as that's the most at-risk time of blacking out after surfacing. Obviously there's always a chance underwater too, we don't want that to happen, so we try and dive as safely as possible, and it's a great way to get a bit of information on the wreck and find out what the situation is before you go down, which in turn results in both of you being more successful. Now, he mentioned the conger attacking my chum tube, which you're about to see a funny little clip, because he got pretty angry at me when I brought the spear gun over and just put it near the tube. He snapped at it really fast. I was amazed how quick he moved, actually. So you've just seen him there snap away at the end of my gun. I'm just having a little bit of a look round, see if anything comes over, but I'm getting pretty tired at this point. My breath hold's starting to struggle, but the day's not over yet. Go back up, obviously you'll see Rich here on the surface again, watching over, making sure we're safe, and continuing to dive. So as I mentioned, my GoPro had started playing up by this point, so I missed the clip of actually shooting it, but you can see the spear straight through by his gills there. Really nice shot on it, and that was the target species. So I'm super happy with this one, as you will be about to tell.
Just in swimming around in this middle of this big bit we're over. He just swam straight up. I put the spear against the fucking side of him and just went, I can't miss.
Fucking legend.
Yeah! Just gonna put him on the float a minute. No, there's more. No, there were more. He was on his own, but round the corner of the wreckage I was looking, I could see another one coming in, but he was right next to me.
So there we go, guys. I've been searching for triggers high and low. I finally got some, so super stoked. You could tell how happy I was to get that, and ended up with 2 triggers, a black marine that came in off the chum, and the mullet I shot at the start of the dive. So I'll leave you here with a nice little picture, and thank you again to Richard Gomes from the Spearo Hangout. As I've mentioned, go have a listen to the podcast, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop us a like if you did. Cheers.